Hey everybody, welcome back. Psychedelic here. Today I'm going to be doing my top 20 Capitol Psych records. And this was a challenging list, being one of the most major labels out there. And it wasn't really a label necessarily just for Psych, but, the label is still running to this day. And so, it's kind of one of those big labels like Epic and Columbia. Just produced, millions of records, and I'm only kind of basing this off of like albums released from 1966-ish till 1974-ish, during the golden era of psychedelia. And while I was compiling this list, even though it was kind of challenging, I definitely went back and rediscovered some things and found out some albums I've never even heard of. Rate Your Music is just such a helpful site as far as like finding all these LPs. So I took my time. I took like a day's worth in the evening, just kind of scouting all these out, putting a list together, and I even have like probably up towards like 50 psych-ish related records that, half of it didn't make the top 20 cut. So, and there's some good ones that didn't make the cut. All of them behind me that you see did not make this list. And I was also going to mention too, I'm basically focusing on psych only, and I kind of excluded bands like the Beatles and Pet Sounds, Beach Boys, a lot of the mainstream stuff, and kind of focused more on like the obscurities for the most part. So and I'm basing this off of US release only on Capitol. So Mother Tucker would have never made it anyways, so it would have been in the top 20, but it was Canadian release only. So with that said, let's dive into this list and see what you guys think of my top 20. So once again, this is my personal top 20. Doesn't mean it's the best list, or you don't have to base the Capitol catalog based off of my list. This is just kind of my personal favorites and the way I kind of ranked them. And I would say these 20 albums are definitely, they're all 4 out of 5 star albums at least. So it tells you that I love these albums either way. So tried compiling them the best I could, and let's see what you guys think of them. So I had to start out with this one. Not really a psych band, but definitely an important band on the Capitol label, Grand Funk. It was really a toss-up between this one and On Time. And I'm also excluding like live albums as well. And Grand Funk Live is like one of my favorite live albums. I normally don't care for like live albums too often, but that one rocks the hell out of my speakers, man. I love that album. But yeah, I had to pick like probably one of the 3. Yeah, the first 3 are just classics on Capitol. So if I had to choose one, probably the Red album is the one I go back to often, and it's not necessarily psychedelic, but it's definitely got that kind of fuzz coming through, and just great hard rock from the US. If I had a favorite track, it'd probably be In Need or Paranoid. So yeah, it's a keeper in my book. And then number 19, this is an album I don't have, so I will put the clip art in this corner. And this is Both Sides of People, and this is People's second album. This one I've seen, kind of going around 15 to 25 bucks, and sometimes a lot higher. I'm just kind of waiting for a nice clean copy to come my way, and this is really good. This is definitely the most probably psychedelic effort. Their self-titled's not that great, and they do have some like kind of Christian leanings, I think, on that debut and some of their later projects, but this one, definitely their most psyched out moments for sure. I can't recall the tracks at the moment, but side 2 is when they get really trippy. So at number 18, I decided to pick Golden Earrings. At the time they were called Golden Earrings, but it's Golden Earring with their album Miracle Mirror. And this was actually released in the US. It had a US release. It's a Netterbeat band, and it's kind of released in like a pop psych for the most part, and very good. I'm still looking for a copy as well. I not sure. I can't remember the standout tracks for sure off the top of my head, but um, it is one I revisited, and I think it qualifies for the top 20. Okay, at number 17, we have The Corporation. Probably not their strongest LP. I would say their strongest might be their second album, but it still fits in the top 20 for me. The highlight track for me was India, John Coltrane's India. They do kind of like a improvisational instrumental track, and some great fuzz leads throughout. It's kind of got like a soulful vibe as well in the vocals, and really one of the more standout LP releases on Capitol, I would say. And then for the next one, this is an album I do have, and this is T.S. Bonwell with his album Close. Now this one's probably not, a very big favorite for a lot of people, but for me, I really like this. Very much a different departure from the Music Machine. T.S. Bonwell kind of goes in this more chamber folk, baroque pop kind of vibe going on, and it's really an album to listen to like, when fall's coming, it's getting cooler outside, and love that puke green Capitol label, don't we? Yeah. And there's a lot of different label variations for Capitol, and I don't know, something about that green label just kind of sticks out. I kind of like it. But yeah, this one's, I got really lucky on this one. So yeah, baroque pop, chamber folk, not for everybody, and just not what anyone was expecting, coming from the leader of Music Machine. So, but I truly love this. It's got some great tracks. Black Snow, I think, was the highlight on side one, and yeah, side one's got the good tracks. Something to Be, Black Snow, really, really soft and mellow stuff. I love it. Okay, at number 15, this is an album I also have. I used to have 2 copies of this. Gave one away at my contest. This is the Human Beings Evolution, or Evolutions rather. This is one, definitely had to put on the list because definitely their most psyched out effort. Even more so than what's the track? Nobody But Me. Yeah, this one's got the goods, and it was also featured in the Psychedelia book as well. My favorite tracks, if I had one, My Animal's great. April 15th, the instrumental closer, is also very good. Just kind of ambitious, close to this band. Unfortunately, it didn't make very much. It probably didn't sell well when it was released, but it's enjoyable. It's got some nice fuzz, but it's also got kind of this, if I remember correctly, it's got some strings laced within as well. I have to revisit this. It's been a while since I've heard it, so that was a great find, by the way. I also have this one. So number 14, I decided to pick the Tuneful Trolley, their album Island in the Sky. This one's on the Rainbow Capitol label. The thing I would say about this album, it's not very polished. It's kind of got this kind of garage production to it going for it, but I think these were like really young kids, probably in their 15 or 16 at the most, maybe. Kind of a pop group, but they were trying to do like a Sgt. Pepper spin-off with this album. It's got a lot of garage and pop. It's like garage pop psych, I would say. Just a lot of great tracks. The Tuneful Trolley theme. There's like little psych effects mixed in between the tracks, which I always love when bands do that. Written Charter, sounds like something John Lennon might have wrote, It's a really, really good album. Doesn't get a lot of discussion, though. And then, let's see, number 13, this is an album I don't have yet. This is Hearts and Flowers, with their album Of Horses, Kids, and Forgotten Women. This is their second album, I believe, and it's kind of laced in like a contemporary folk, country rock vibe, with a lot of acoustics, but there's also some really standout tracks like Ode to a Tin Angel. Is one of the highlight tracks, kind of known for its like very strange production on that track. It's worth seeking out. And this band was also based out of LA, so I haven't really been looking for a copy, but I think they are getting kind of scarce if I remember correctly. So this is an album that's kind of been on my want list pretty high as of recently. Landslide with their album Two Sided Fantasy. It's kind of more of like a blues rock, hard rocker. I think these guys were like from the East Coast, like from New York, I believe. Killer Fuzz Psych. This also came like 1972, so a little later for the Capitol catalog, but my favorite track was Dream Traveler, and it's just consistently fantastic hard rock album. And then for number 11, this is also one I'm trying to keep, my eyes peeled for. This is Accolade. It's a UK band. It's kind of laced more on like a progressive folk psych kind of vibe. I think they do a couple covers, at least one cover of Eden Abhez with his track Nature Boy. They do like I think it's a 10-minute version of that track, and it is amazing. It's probably, I think it's like very Eastern influenced. I have to listen to it again, but it does rank high on the list. I was very, very impressed by it. Features a lot of strings going throughout, and just doesn't get enough love. So, Accolade. It's one of the cheaper titles on Capitol so far. So, okay, so now we go into the top 10 of Capitol Records. This one makes the list. This is just questionably psychedelic, I guess you could say. It's gotten a lot of hype over the years, and this is Euphoria. I think it's called A Gift from Euphoria. This is probably an original I'm probably never going to pay up for. It's not something I really hold dear to me. It's not something I really love, but I can really appreciate people's, aspects on this album. It's definitely in that kind of cosmic country realm that a lot of people love, if they love Byrds or if they love just a lot of West Coast bands, This band had a lot of incorporated with like mainstream records at the time, and they were featured on a few compilations, so they definitely had their share of you know appreciation from the fans at the time, and it is very overlooked, and definitely probably of the four big Capitol titles that people are seeking out. So my favorite track is Did You Get the Letter? Definitely one of the more psych-influenced tracks as well, and kind of got a heavy Beatles vibe on some tracks too, if I remember correctly. And then at number 9, this is an album I do own. I think for the remainder of this list are LPs I do own, and I decided to put Mad River at number 9. Just essential, kind of dark and moody West Coast acid rock for sure. Just can't go wrong with some Mad River going on. What else needs to be said? They're basically like Quicksilver Messenger service, but probably just had a little more to smoke, if you know what I mean. That's for sure. So, and speaking of Quicksilver, this is the one I chose, their debut album. Definitely need an upgrade on the cover, but the LP is in great shape. So it's on the Rainbow Capitol label. What else needs to be said about this one? This is a great jam band experience going on with tracks like what's my favorite track? Gold and Silver, Dino Song. Yeah, excellent stuff. I mean, John Cipollina, his guitar vibrato is just very unique and very distinctful, and one of the best guitarists out there from that era. And this is just right along the same lines. This comes in at number 7. I decided to pick Stained Glass. Very much in the same realm as the previous two albums, but this one's probably my favorite. Crazy Horse Roads. And this is their debut album. Aurora is one that I'm still trying to seek out. I've heard it once or twice, Not as good as this one, I don't think, but I did upload the full album of this on YouTube, so you'll be able to find it. They did block the one song, Doomsday, the closing track, which is like the fuzziest track on here, of course. But no, I love this album for its very sporadic variety of styles going for it. You know, they kind of go in this kind of Baroque vibe, and then they kind of switch back to some, you know, straightforward country rock, and then they just have this aesthetic fuzz rock thrown in, you know, for good measure. So this is one I rate pretty highly. It's like a 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. This is really good stuff. So I think it's kind of getting scarce now too. You know, copies going for like $50. But then speaking on the contrast of that, this is one you can still pick up probably for $20 and under, and this is definitely one of the better Capitol titles. East, this is their self-titled. This is primarily like a psych folk, just a eclectic psych folk mix. You know, some progressive leanings, but just a lot of Eastern influences on the instrumentation, and the writing itself is just very strong. The opening track, Beautiful Morning, really opens this up very well. It's a very strong track. Deaf-Eyed Julie, you know, and the track Everywhere, those 3 tracks alone will sell you on this one for sure. And like I said, it's one of the cheaper titles, so pick it up if you see it. This is some highly... I spin this quite frequently, honestly. Whenever I'm in that psych folk mood, this is excellent. Okay, and then what are we at? Number 5. Oh, I love this album. Love this album so much. I used to have their debut, but that one just never really did it for me. I like the just how bizarre it is, but this one just takes it up a step further, and musically I think it's just the stronger album. This is Lothar and the Hand People with Space Hymn, and it's a very nice clean copy despite the, you know, rubbed spine. It's got a lot of damage there, but I've been looking for this for a long time, and I'm so glad I found this at the record show maybe a couple years ago. And just this is very consistently really well put together as well. Today is only yesterday's tomorrow. I mean, you got tracks like that, and this one really takes advantage of the modulating, you know, what is it? I can't even think of the instrument. I'm a dumbass. Zither, or no, it's the, damn it, what's it called? Somebody help me. I'll put an image of it in here. Anyways, you got that. The theremin. Wow. I'm not on top of my game right now. I could not think of the instrument. The theremin. Yeah, they use a lot of heavy theremin effects throughout, and they close it with Space Hymn, which is just a very hypnotic trance of its own. So they even do a version of Heatwave, which is a great track as well. And Backwards, which is actually spelled backwards. Yeah, interesting band. I believe they're from Denver, Colorado, so it's an interesting location for those guys. Okay, at number 4, you can probably tell where this list is going, right? I mean, if you guys know your Capitol titles, this is, you know, going down to the bare minimum of some fantastic records here. Common People. And the full title is Of the People, By the People, For the People, From the Common People. This is a reissue I picked up at Almost Music in Omaha before it closed, but yeah, it was initially, you know, being arranged by, oh, what's his bucket? It's on here. David Axelrod on the first 3 tracks, and then the remainder is pretty much very soft, melancholy pop psych. And of course, the strongest track is They Didn't Even Go to the Funeral, we all know that's the standout track. So check it out if you haven't heard it. Yeah, the Green Capital label. It's just basic replica. I've always mistaken this band for from being from Canada, which I actually think they were from probably the Los Angeles area, but I've always seen more Canadian copies of this album than U.S. pressings, so maybe it sold better there or something. I'm not sure. And at number 3, SRC, Detroit's Scott Richards Case. Yeah, I picked this up for like $5 on eBay back in the day, and that was like the best score for a while. Yeah, I had to pick their debut. I still don't own their 2 albums after this, which I'm not really in a hurry to get. They're pretty solid, but you know, this is always going to be the strongest one for me. Just look at the graphics. It just doesn't get any better than that. It's one of the better album art out there, so yeah, if I had a favorite track off here, I would say probably One Simple Task, probably, or Daystar. Very unique fuzz tone, and definitely stands out on its own too by Quackenbush. Then number 2 might come as a surprise to you guys, but yeah, I'll put this at number 2 spot. Gandalf. This is an original copy I picked up probably back in 2016, I think, and I actually put it in the shrink wrap. This is a very loose shrink wrap. I don't know why I put it on it. It's just I just did for some reason. But yeah, what else needs to be said about Gandalf? One of the more, I mean, the cover attracts people alone, but musically this has got very dreamy and whimsical, for the most part pop psych, but it definitely rocks out in a few spots, never too far. And Peter Sando's voice is just very, very unique on its own. Very magical album. Me About You. And the fact that most of this is all cover songs just shows you how, you know, the originality of their writing and how, you know, different takes of different bands, you know, creating these sounds just can give a whole different aspect to it. Make it original of their own, you know. And then, I don't know, might surprise some people at number 1 spot. It's the last album on the list. You guessed it. Food. Forever's a Dream. I would love to upgrade to an original copy of this, but I'm pretty happy with the sound quality of this. It's pretty decent. Got a very laminated cover. Yeah, it's kind of a toss-up between like this and Gandalf, really. I just love the variety of styles going for this one as well. Kind of mixes in with the, you know, kind of a Baroque popness to it. Vocal pop going through. Some horn arrangements as well, which aren't very distracting. They're actually very tastefully done. Then you got Naive Prayers, which just is a total fuzz blast in your face, kind of hard rocker. Fountains of My Mind, taking the really trippy route. And you got tracks like Leaves. It's just a really, it's kind of got this kind of romantic, almost ancient sorcery about it that is just kind of unexplainable. It's just a very beautiful record, and the sleeve doesn't really tell you much, but it just, you know, looking at the sleeve, kind of looks like they could be like a lounge group or something. So yeah, absolutely love this album, and this is probably the one I recommend, you know, more than Gandalf, more than Common People. And to me, this is just definitive, you know, psych coming off a mainstream label. Great production, great writing, and initially, you know, when I first got into this, it was kind of a hard listen, you know, just lots of assorted styles, you know, that I was kind of not ready for at the time, and it's probably one that will grow on you with repeated listens. So It's a very strong LP. And that does it, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed the top 20 Capitol Psych records. It's quite a list, yeah. Unfortunately, Hardwater and Bob Seger System, Phantom's Divine Comedy, the Koala, they disqualified. I mean, I love all these albums, you know, like I've said. So, yeah, there was a lot on the list. I still have the list here in front of me. You know, stuff like Brainbox, Rig, Shiva's Headband, Genuine John, Possum, even Bang. I used to own Bang. I actually sold that one. It's a good record, though. Peter and Gordon, Wind in the Willows, John Bartle Thing, The Salvation Company. There's just so many I wrote down. So some of these I haven't actually heard yet because I could not find them on YouTube or any MP3 site. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the list, and we shall see what label comes next. I'm thinking either ABC or Uni. Both great labels, and just see how the list goes and see when I get to it. So yeah, like I said, my next video I hope to do maybe a film review, but I'm not certain on that. We'll see if that happens or not. I just actually went to the record shop today and came back with a few great cheapies that I've always needed, and I should be getting one in the mail tomorrow, and maybe I'll just do an update video tomorrow. So because I got tomorrow off from work. So you guys know what you think of my list. Tell me what your top 5 or top 10 are if you'd like, and we will catch you soon. So thanks for tuning in, everybody, and take care.